Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, this is the Tres Leches Cream Ale taste testing, part 2 of 2. And there it is in my new White Lab snifter glass. It holds about, I think about 10 ounces, maybe 12, but looks beautiful, smells nice. Before we jump into the beer, don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate the sharing. We hit 84.8 technically on the brew house efficiency, which woohoo! It was a simple recipe, but hey, original gravity we were at 1.058. Our final gravity was 1.018, which I was concerned was way too high. But Beersmith actually estimated the cream ale yeast would only hit 1.017, so really it wasn't that far off. Yeah, usually I beat those numbers, but hey, you know, I was shooting for a lower ABV. Came in at 5.4%, which was perfect. 5.5 would have been nice, but 5.4 was even better. It was a simple recipe, like I mentioned. It was only 4 pounds, 12 ounces of Golden Promise. If you haven't seen the first where we brewed it, I'll put it up here. 1 pound, 12 ounces of flaked oats, which is probably why I've got a nice haze going on. I did put the Clarity Firm, is it Clarity Firm? Whatever, from White Labs. And I also put a little bit of gelatin in there. And I mean, it looks just translucent. I mean, I can still see a little through it, but not clearly. Had 4 ounces of acid malt, 4 ounces of caramel or Crystal 20, just to kind of give it a hint of that toffee caramel, you know, just a hint. A pound of lactose. Now, most people will recommend about 5% max lactose to the total recipe. That was 11.4%. And yeah, it was very intentional. I've done this recipe once before and I think I had it at about 12 ounces, so I kicked it up a bit. Also did 12 ounces of light brown sugar in the last 5 minutes, and I did 1 heaping tablespoon of cinnamon, which to me wasn't enough. So I'll show you what I added. And 2 tablespoons of bourbon vanilla. Now the bourbon vanilla was added at time of kegging. I put it in the keg, purged the keg, did all the 9 yards, did the transfer. I didn't record the transfer. I figure you all have seen enough zero oxygen transfers under pressure, and I did under pressure by just a few PSI from the all-rounder over to the actual keg. It took hours, and I found out that this that was set to 10 PSI was actually only doing 7.5. So if you get a spunning valve, test it, verify the PSI that it says is correct, otherwise you could be off. So not a big deal. Now I know I can replace the little gauge and hopefully get one that doesn't have that issue. The bourbon vanilla, like I said, I added. Here's the key, is about a week in, it was carbonating. It wasn't quite where it needed to be, and yes, it needed to be a little more carbonated than it was under pressure. I decided I needed to add a little more cinnamon, but the problem with that is cinnamon is a dried bark. Yes, bark from a tree. It doesn't do well going through a keg system. It doesn't do well in any way, shape, size, or form. I didn't want to add it to a vodka and, you know, let it sit for a while. So I was like, I'm gonna go get some cinnamon schnapps and add a little bit of cinnamon schnapps to my 5-gallon keg. I found this stuff. My son says it's disgusting, but he didn't mind it in the actual beer. He did take a taste. It's called Fireball. Just a cinnamon alcohol. And from what I understand, it's like a cinnamon vodka. It says cinnamon whiskey, but whatever, it's all good. I dumped this in there to boost the cinnamon. So there's other ways to boost flavors after the fact, especially when you're kegging. It's easy. So let's do the taste testing. I still got a little ring up here, a little foam, a little lacing too, which is nice, but the head's down, we can do it. My son said, because I let him taste it, I haven't tasted it since then, he tasted cinnamon. He felt like the vanilla stood way out. Initially, I didn't feel it did, and I'll have to taste test it now that it's properly carbonated. He also thought he tasted nutmeg, which I kind of think's the vanilla and cinnamon playing on him, but we'll see. The aroma, I can actually smell like a hint of what I think is vanilla. Maybe vanilla with a little bit of malts. I mean, I don't even remember what the hops were. We really didn't go for any kind of hops or hoppiness. The hops were more for bittering. Okay. I don't know if I need to boost the oatmeal or add some wheat. It sits on my tongue, but it dissipates a little faster than I want. I want it to sit there and just kind of linger. Initially, I get a hint of cinnamon, and I do mean subtle hint. It's really not in your face like you would think it would be. Cinnamon, like I said, it's a bark. It settles out. It leaves some remaining flavors behind, and that's why I did this. Probably could have done 2 of these easily. The vanilla, I smell it, and I get it on the lingering of the tongue. I taste a little bit of sweet. In vanilla, that's one thing about vanilla. Your mind perceives vanilla as sweet sometimes, even though it's not. It's just the way we are. You know, we put enough vanilla in our cookie mixes and stuff. We just think everything that has vanilla in it is sweet. So I get a little bit of perceived sweetness, and it may be that it's playing well or playing properly with the lactose. The lactose is maxed. I don't want to ever increase the lactose, but I could consider increasing the oatmeal. I don't think I really want to increase by adding wheat. I think oatmeal would be the key, maybe even lowering the Golden Promise a little to allow for more of the oats. I could also add a different type of oat malt, which might also do a good job. But now I'm not gonna say I have caramel, might be a hint. I could increase the caramel, maybe even up to 8 ounces of caramel, or even go 4 ounces and go up to maybe a 40L instead of a 20L. But it's a nice beer. I'm getting more and more of the vanilla, which I told him before it was carbonated properly. I didn't taste the vanilla that much and I wanted to add more, but he said it was a little strong, so I didn't really want to add too much more vanilla unless I felt that it was missing here, and it's not missing, so I'll leave it alone. I may add a little more cinnamon towards the end of the keg after people have tried it, just to see how it plays. Cinnamon is optional if you've never had a Tres Leches cake. Not everybody puts cinnamon on it, but it really plays nicely with all those cream and vanilla, like kind of, you know, those sweet, milky flavors. Cinnamon just really is like a highlight, almost like the cherry on top type of idea, which some people put cherries on top. I did not. Yeah, success, great beer. I do like the Czech Pilsner I did better, actually, but I do like this. This is nice. It's very drinkable. It's very nice. It does have a subtle hint of sweet. It's not in your face sweet, which is great. I'm excited, and I'll do this just to kind of give you a little bit better view, but you know, like I said, it's not clear, it's translucent, but it is very nice. There's no floaties or anything in there that I can see other than occasional bubble. But yeah, success. Thank you again for joining us here at Bitter Reality Brewing. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, definitely appreciate it, and cheers.